This next supercontinent may just wipe out mammals in 250 million years. The vast majority of Earth could become inhospitable to mammals as the planet's landmasses merge together to form the next supercontinent. At least that's the dire outlook of a new study published recently in the journal Nature Geoscience. Scientists reached this conclusion by modeling the climate with a supercomputer, and while they were not completely surprised by the result, they do find the predictions a bit depressing, says Hannah Davies, geologist at GFC, German Research Center for Geosciences, who is not involved in the study. There have been extinction events in the past and will be extinction events in the future, she says. I think life will make it through this one. It's just kind of a grim period. A supercontinent is just what it sounds like, a giant landmass that forms when the planet's continents join together because of shifting tectonic plates. The last supercontinent that existed on Earth was called Pangaea, and it split up roughly 200 million years ago. The Earth's continents are now drifting, and they could merge back together in 250 million years, as scientists predict. They've named the next supercontinent Pangaea Ultima, and according to the new model, it would be a kind of a hellscape. When Pangaea Ultima forms, volcanic activity will increase, blasting carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, the researchers posit. Because much of the supercontinent will be flat and far from the ocean, the scientists also predict a slowing of the CO2 trapping chemical reactions that typically take place between rock and water. And all at the same time, the aging sun will likely shine 2.5% brighter than it does today, can you imagine? Which means Earth will be a target of more intense solar radiation. So with all this CO2, extra sunlight, and other changes, the planet could be heat to between 104 and 122 degrees Fahrenheit in many places, with even higher daily extremes, according to their statement. The world as we know it could become very toasty. As study co-author Alexander Farnsworth, climatologist at the University of Bristol in England, says, coastal areas would have the most viable climate, the livable climate, while interior parts of the supercontinent could turn into deserts where only specially adapted animals could survive. Perhaps cold-blooded reptiles, for example, could become the dominant creatures on Earth, reports Live Science Ben Turner. The researchers did not factor human-caused carbon emissions into the model, which are currently warming the planet, but by the time Pangaea Ultima forms, CO2 levels could double naturally as high as 1,120 parts per million. Today, CO2 levels are around 418 parts per million, so it would be about 3 times higher. Under that worst-case scenario, just 8% of Earth's surface would be hospitable to mammals, mostly the polar and coastal regions. For comparison, 66% of the surface was habitable by mammals during the pre-industrial era. Though the study predicts that Earth will be like what it will be like in the distant future, the researchers warn us that it's crucial to reach net zero carbon emissions as soon as possible, because today we're already experiencing extreme heat that is detrimental to human health, study co-author Eunice Lowe, also a climatologist at the University of Bristol, says. And what about humans in 250 million years, if the species still exists by then? They might find ways to adapt to their new environment, such as by only being active at night or living in cooler caves. Plus, certain factors might make Pangaea Ultima more habitable than predicted in this study. For one, the climate might be cooler if the supercontinent forms near a pole, writes Nature News. And the amount of heat escaping from the interior of Earth might decrease as the planet ages, resulting in fewer volcanic eruptions than projected, report New York Times. And if possible, however, it might be better for humans to get off this planet and find somewhere more habitable to live. This is by Sarah Kuta on Smithsonian. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account, the daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.